Today I wrote a poem called Fairy Tales Don't Exist. Happily ever after, such a useless phrase. Is happily ever after when we die, save a life, fall in love? Is there an happily ever after, or do you feel this way when we stare at the ceiling that seems hold all the secrets of life inside us, really knowing we belong as one day longer with a beating heart? Where is the manual saying out of a full healthy life with no complications? The part where in the stereotypical world, judgment ceases to exist and we're all going to grow up knocking like our celebrity crushes that seem like perfect after mountains of makeup and edited imaging reimagined to not disappoint the average person. The ones that don't matter recite poetry at the local bookstore downtown and sip lattes while going to another mindless day at the office. We try and take care of the harsh words that speed up people's mouths with our overloading teeth and fake cherry red lipstick that stains. How can we be born sinful and be told constantly not to care what others think of us? We're born into this place of racism, sexism, gender equality, non-acceptance of who people choose to be exist, where there's so much hate it covers up the love. In a way, we all fit into this society we've created, some of us more than others, whereas others live in the outskirts of town figuring out where they belong, or who they are. In fact, most of us are nothing more than the paper that is used to etch words, resembling thoughts twisted into a work of art. We're the trees that think out corporations murder, or the refurbished electronic that was used, molded into something different and sold once again, where when we die, we don't make it on the front cover of People magazine, but I think it's by that way. Instead of paparazzi claims to making it breaking news, someone has died, we're allowed to rot in peace, R.I.P., as the saying goes. We have people that cared for us, which is sometimes all we need, is knowing that we were surrounded by love, we were with the time, energy, and valuable resources. And if we don't meet the Hollywood standards, we can still stand up and recite poetry written by locals that have a great deal of wisdom and have a creative output to express them, listened by readers who bobble their heads in unison, agreeing to the rhythm that is spoken with dedication. We sway back and forth on subtle melodies that feed them in our mind until our mind explodes and we run to speak our hearts out until our hearts are nothing more than shreds of lifeless organ and puddles of blood. When does this once upon a time start? When can we be the princess that fits into the glass slipper, or be the hopeless romantic that finds love right around the corner every single day and claims this is the one I'm going to love forever? When can this life of once upon a time start? When we're nothing more than orbs of energy that float lifelessly about? I imagine maybe it starts when we're classified as good or bad, famous, not famous, smart, dumb, or maybe it starts at birth and once upon a time, meaning the beginning of someone's life story. I come to this little conclusion that fairy tales fail to exist because life that would end up perfectly would be the same mindless activities day after day until we point a gun to our heads and shoot ourselves, ending the slumps of anxiety. We have too many problems to count, whether we have a glioblastoma or a first heartbreak. All the same, we all have flaws like talking too much or chewing tall, allowing for the prince to be so annoyed he doesn't want to marry us anymore. We also have other things we exceed at, so maybe if we plead it, the prince may think we're worthy enough of marrying, or we don't, because that would mean we're keeping to someone we're not, and it's important to say you through thick and thin, because we were born furries, and if fitting shouldn't be a problem, or the prince never truly loved you. If you think about it, what is normal? Who is normal? You have a choice. You can be happy living a body that's goofy, dancing in public, and making changes off with glee, or you can think about it than everyone else that seems even remotely weird, sticking those hype in the air and trying not to catch the weird virus that spreads like wildfire. Normal doesn't seem to exist in this world, and quite frankly, it never will. Everyone has a unique trait to them that makes them different. Maybe in a way fairy tale chapters exist. Maybe for a remote period in our lives, we have that once upon a time, ending with a happily ever after, until life crashes the party and ruins it, ending this perfect little fairy tale that we built it up to be something bad and changes the course of life, it seems. Life tells us you can't be a zombie forever, and your life needs sugar, spice, and everything not nice. That is whatever controls this obligation after all, to give us more bad days than good days, so we can learn who we are and how to deal with certain situations we otherwise would not want to be in, so we can learn what hate is, not hate others, but help others with kindness and respect. Life teaches us many lessons, but we only take to one theme at a time, like an everlasting fairy tale that applies to the real world, and not just some sort of dream where everything is utopia for everyone. In the end, the ongoing fairy tale must end, and it ends with death. Whether you were classified as a good or bad person, famous, not famous, smart, dumb, by the seductive society we have created, wedging people from each other, forbidding us to become united. But when we die, we lay side by side, and we know in our hearts we may not have changed the world for everybody, but we have changed the world for somebody, which is more than enough for a lifetime. Even though we weren't famous, just normal people means maybe, just maybe, fairy tales do exist.